Hey guys, so let's talk about Nikola, but in a non-asshole kind of way. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get into Nikola, just like we do every week, let's go over my portfolio. So this is my portfolio. It is a mix of growth/value stocks and dividend stocks, so all in one portfolio. My goal right now for this year is to get this portfolio from where it is now to $25,000 by the end of the year, no matter what happens in the market. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot better than I was doing last week. Let's go over the positions real quick so we can get to the topic at hand. Bank of America, we are up 4.94%. Cloudera, we're getting better and better, up 17.27%. And that is with me adding like 63 more shares last week. Cisco, we are down 4.39%. Facebook, god damn, we are up 67.05%. I don't know what happened in the market today with Facebook, but they just crossed the 300 mark. We're looking good. Intel, we are down 2.42%. Realty, we are up 25.29%. Pfizer, we are up 14.02%. Qualcomm, we are up 46.38%. I know this is different in play, but I think next year, if this keeps going up, I may have to sell my position. Like, we're looking really good. I may have to take profits, but we'll see. Revolve, we are up 46.6%. Sony, we are up 14.66%. AT&T, we are down 0.04%. I dropped $200 into AT&T this week. I'm starting the whole dividend play again, where I drop $200 into a dividend-paying stock each week. Tapestry up 10.09%, and Uber, we're getting back at it, up 18.32%. That gives us a total equity of $20,212.10. And we are up 18.61%. So I want to talk about Nikola, but I want to do it in a way that's different from the typical Tesla bull that you see on YouTube. I want to try to give this company a fair shake. I would like to try to talk about Nikola without talking about Tesla, but that's kind of impossible since, Nikola, ever since it went public, it is taking pot shot after pot shot. It is directly and intentionally being Tesla's competitor. Well, if you can call it a competitor. It went public this year, just a few months ago. Right now, Nikola makes money by installing solar panels. Nikola wants to be known by developing electric vehicles and then hydrogen vehicles. Nikola wants to be known as the company that developed the first zero-emission car. But as of right now, Nikola hasn't done any of that yet. At the time of this video, they don't sell anything other than installing solar panels. Since they went public, in these last couple of quarters, they have not exactly made a whole lot of money doing that. $36,000 in revenue from installing solar panels. Now, just as a point of reference, Tesla went public in 2010. Tesla released its first car in 2008. That means Nikola went public without having any kind of product. Now, that's a strike, yeah, but that's not a deal breaker at all. There are lots of companies that do that go public before they have their first product. That's very popular with pharmaceutical companies. For example, Moderna went public, I think 5 more years ago or so, something like that. They have not released a product that they can sell yet, and they don't intend to do that for at least another year or so. So when you're buying into Nikola, you are buying into the expectation that they are going to deliver on their promises. You're buying in the hopes of that. That's not a bad thing. It just depends on your opinion on if they can do that or not. Now, Tesla bulls will talk about how Tesla is very, very, very far ahead of the game. And they're not wrong. Tesla is very far ahead of the competition right now. They've already sold product. They have revenue. They have a shit ton of revenue. It's taken them 10 years to get there, but they are a lot further along than Nikola. But the question I'm trying to answer now is whether Nikola is worth it. So let's take a look at a few things. So its income statement is not the reason you're going into Nikola at all. It is not pretty at all. Now, its balance sheet is actually pretty nice. If we take a look at its assets versus liabilities, it's got the number of assets right now dominate the number of liabilities. So at least from a completely numeric, balance sheet point of view, just looking at this, that looks pretty good. And they do not have, and they barely have any debt. So how much cash they have on hand? So yeah, they have a ton of cash, at least right now, a ton of assets, barely any liabilities, and very little debt. That's pretty good. Cash flow is not very good, absolutely shitty, but you know, you're not buying Nikola for now, you're supposed to be buying Nikola for the future, if you think they're worth it. Right now, they're trading at 38.82, so $38.82. I have no idea if that is a good price or not. They barely have any revenue. They have a 14 billion market cap. So let's talk about what I read on the hydrogen car itself. I'm not a car expert, so if you are, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this. So based on what I read, the hydrogen car itself, compared to the electric car, it's less expensive to float your vehicle. It goes for a longer range, and it takes less time to fill. There is a problem with all that. So here is a .gov website, the Alternative Fuels Data Center. I searched across the US for hydrogen filling station. Unless you live in California, Vancouver, I think, Connecticut, or up here in Canada, unless you live up here, you're going to have a hard time owning a Nikola hydrogen vehicle. The infrastructure is not there. Not there. I would not be able to use a Nikola vehicle, assuming one came out in time, for anything other than a paperweight, since I live in Ohio. Take a look at the electric ones. They are all over the country. All over the place. So right now, Tesla has the infrastructure advantage. They don't need to invent a supply chain for their infrastructure. They can already use the existing infrastructure, pop a supercharging station down, and there you go. It has the infrastructure advantage. So if Nikola wants to succeed, it has got to do something about this. And I'm not an expert into this, but I feel like that's going to take a lot of time and money. Nikola has to do a lot of work. Not only does it have to manufacture a blueprint for the hydrogen vehicles, it has to come up with a prototype, it has to develop the vehicle. It's got a lot of shit that it still has to do that it has not shown evidence of doing yet. It's got a lot of work to cover. Not only that, it has to build the infrastructure to get that done and have that infrastructure work. And then it has to sell all of it. For now, it may seem that Nikola is all talk, and it kind of is. Most of it is talk and promises of things that will get done. But it isn't all talk. If you look at their 10Q, which you should be doing if you're interested in Nikola, you should be reading through their entire 10Q. They have one out now. You can see some commitments have been made. Let's take a look. All right, I'm not going to read all this here. These are one of the sections that I wanted to talk about. So Nikola has entered into an agreement with a real estate holdings in Coolidge, Arizona, to build a manufacturing facility. They are supposed to start within 2 years of February 2019. So they're supposed to start by February 2021. They are supposed to be done by February of 2024, I think. So 5 years. So that doesn't mean they're going to do it, but it does show that they're making some commitments. And the fact that this is a public company with SEC filings and stuff that, you know, are subject to audits and stuff, that does give me some hope that this company is not intentionally trying to fuck us. May do it unintentionally, but right now it seems like the company is trying to actually do something. In April, they entered into an agreement, a series of agreements with a company called Iveco, to develop and manufacture the battery electric vehicle, which is their electric stuff, and their fuel cell electric vehicle, which is their hydrogen stuff. According to the 10Q, as of June the 30th, it has not started. It has not started yet, but I'll have to check the news and see if that's going to happen. So that is a they haven't developed anything, but it does show that they're starting. Again, not a great sign, but also not a deal breaker. It does show some progress. Some expectations down here in revenue, a little further down. They are expecting, well, not profitability. They are expecting to get revenue starting in 2021. That's next year from their BEV trucks. I think that's their electric stuff. And they are supposed to start getting revenue from their hydrogen stuff in 2023. That is when they're going to start getting revenue. Now, profitability, they're probably a long ways out. Now, a couple caveats, a couple bad things. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of shit that they have to get through in order to get revenue. And they have to meet these deadlines. They have to meet them. Delays are going to be disastrous. The important part is down here. So right now, the capital that they've raised, that Nikola's raised, are not going to be sufficient to cover their needs in fiscal year 2022. They have until then to get all this stuff done and to start generate revenue. That's a little shaky, because if not, they're going to have to curb their expansion plans and that is going to have a material adverse impact. That's going to fuck some shit up for them. They've got to get revenue by 2022 or find another way to raise capital. That is a risk. If you're looking to invest in Nikola, that is a risk that you're going to have to take. So what are my thoughts on all this? You know, what am I going to do? Nikola has a long way to go. It's got a lot of shit it has to get through. It has to build the factories, it has to develop the prototypes, it has to develop the cars, and it's got to make revenue. So whether you invest in this company or not depends on whether you believe all the hype, whether you believe that this company can deliver on what it can deliver. Now, let's say that it can do that. If it does get its electric battery up and running and it makes revenue, it makes good revenue. If it does get its hydrogen cars, trucks up and running and it does make revenue. If it invests in the hydrogen infrastructure and gets that working, and we're not talking about like 3 to 5 years. We're talking like 10 years or whatever. If it gets all that done, if it goes through all that, then yeah, it might be able to be a competitor to Tesla. It might do that, even though Tesla does have a huge advantage of time. Now, I know what you're saying. I know Tesla bulls are going to say, yeah, no. I mean, Tesla absolutely destroys Nikola in market share and revenue. And that's true. Let me tell you something else. Intel versus AMD. Intel dominates AMD in market share. And it's done that for decades. However, over the last couple of months, thanks to a couple of fuck-ups from Intel, AMD is now encroaching upon Intel's market share. It's slowly eating it up. And there ain't shit that Intel can do about it for the next couple of years. Whether you invest in this company depends on if you think it can do all that. But if you do, there are 3 things that I would like to say to you. There are 3 things. 1, this is a long-term play. We're not talking 3 to 5 years. If you're in the Nikola, this is maybe a 7 to 10 year play because they're not even going to get revenue to 2021 and then good revenue to 2023. Forget about profitability. Profitability is way down the line. I mean, and then it's going to invest in infrastructure and all that stuff. There's a lot of work to do. If you were in the Nikola, you were in it for like 7 to 10 years. At least that, if not more. Second thing is do not put all of your money into this position. This is a very, very risky thing. There may be high reward, but there's a lot of risk. Put the amount of money that you can afford to lose if the shit hits the fan. So do not put all of your money in this position. Start a small position first. The third thing is you got to babysit this role. You got to babysit this company. At least once a week, type Nikola into Google News and see what happens. Like, you got to stay on them. I think they have a battery event later this year. Yeah, watch that. See if they're developing or see if they're not developing. And if you're on it, you may be able to catch some kind of fuck up in time and pull your money out. So what am I going to do? I am very curious about this company. I am very curious, and I am going to keep watching this. I am not quite ready to invest just yet. Like, I got to see a little more. I got to see something. I like the commitments that it's trying to make. I got to see a blueprint. I got to see a test. I got to see something that shows it's making progress. I got to see something. Maybe the battery event is it, but I gotta say something. But anyways, what are your thoughts? Are you bullish on Nikola? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth it long term? Do you think it's full of shit and not worth it at all? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, take care, have a great day, and eat your vegetables.